Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I apologize for that. It is your boy Louis coming back. As it says, Louis start talking at 3:34. So my apologies. My mic was off, and I keep forgetting to set the notifications on that. I mean, not notifications, change the settings on that. So I apologize. So once again, let me go back to the thumbnail and let's start this anew again. Let me find it. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good evening to everybody on the Louis Sports Network. We are in State Farm Arena here in Hotlanta, baby. It is your boy Louis coming back at you with another banger on the Louis Sports Network with yet another video. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, make sure your notifications are turned on. Make sure you guys are sharing the stream on Reddit and on your social media platforms. Truly appreciate it. And I want to give everybody blessings and wish that everybody that is in Atlanta, I'm praying for their safety. Hope everybody is doing well down there amidst everything that's been happening since the death of George Floyd. I know that there's riots going on, and I'm going to just keep it basketball tonight, but hopefully everybody is doing great and everybody is staying safe out there. Let me just check who is in the chat. And again, shout out to Caden. Hey, shout out to CG Beats in the building, man. Shout out to Corey. And if you guys haven't, make sure y'all go subscribe to CG Beats channel. The man produces great beats. He helped me with my beats. And if you're looking for beats for your video, make sure you go check the man out. The guy just continues to bring bangers, bangers, bangers among bangers, man. So make sure y'all go subscribe to CG Beats. So we talking here. We in Hotlanta, bro. And shout out to Caden. And yes, my mic is working. I just forgot to change the settings on my headset. And shout out to Freddie Gee. He says, look at the Hawks love. I said, yeah, man, of course. I'm going to show teams love out here because the media, they don't talk about these basketball teams because they don't cater because they're in small markets and they're not going to show them love because they don't have the star power and then they're not in big markets. So they don't sell. But the thing is, true basketball heads know that I'm going to give the Atlanta Hawks love and they truly deserve it. They have a nice young team. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go from out here in State Farm in Atlanta. Shout out to Sly. Appreciate it. Again, like and subscribe. We are now going to go from there to the arena. Hey, check it out. We are in State Farm Arena. Shout out to Karam in the building, man. Appreciate it. All right. So we are in State Farm Arena. We see the Atlanta Hawks dance cheerleaders. And now we're being introduced to my man Trey Young. Yo, Trey, what's good, bro? Ice Trader again. Ice Trader again. Let's go. Ice Trader again. Ice Trader again. All right, we talking Atlanta Hawks, baby. So now let's go to this fine basketball team, this nice young basketball team that's got this team right here. So we got Cam Reddish, we got Kevin Huter, we got John Collins. I know we had a little bit of Jabari Parker. We had Trey Young as well. We're gonna look a little bit at the Atlanta Hawks roster, and I want to open it up, man. Any questions do you guys have for your Atlanta Hawks out there? For those who are in A-Town, and shout out to A-Town out there. That's right, Ice Trey logo. You already know. And Karam says the Hawks have the young talent. They absolutely do. And I'm wishing nothing but the best for this team because I really hope that eventually, not only do they become a playoff team, but they win a championship. That's right. Clint Capella was traded over here. That's right. Trey the truth. That's right. Trey is the truth. Um, you know, I like Trey's game. I mean, they've been comparing him to Steph Curry. Some people comparing him to Steve Nash. But in your personal opinion, guys, who do you compare Trey Young to in terms of his game? Some people even believe he'll be better than Steph Curry in just a couple of years, which is crazy, you know? And, like I said, that this is a really nice young team. You definitely have, let me just go to the basketball reference for this team. Any questions you guys have on Atlanta, let me know as well. And so from what I heard from the NBA is that they're going to go to the, let me see if it, okay, here we go. So right now, currently the Atlanta Hawks are 20-47. So unfortunately, that's not, they're obviously not a playoff team, but their best shot to make it to the playoffs is if Adam Silver were to bring all 30 teams to be involved in some kind of tournament, which a lot of people are upset about because they want that to be the traditional 16-team format. I wonder how the Atlanta Hawks would do. So if we look at some of the ratings, They're 16th in the league out of 30 teams in scoring. They average 111.8 points per game. And remember, every team in the league scores 100 points because of the era that we're in. They allow 119 points per game, which is dead last in the NBA. So obviously, Atlanta's got to get better on defense. This is a young team. Tyrese says that Trae Young is a sixth man. You think Trae Young's a sixth man? I'm not sure if Trae Young is better than even Ty Lawson. I don't know about that one. I mean, yeah, John Collins is very underrated. All right, man, your personal opinion, but I don't think he's a sixth man though. Caden says, will the Hawks get higher than an 8th seed next year? Let me tell you this, Caden. Last year, when Trae Young was the best rookie in the second half of the season, and him and John Collins, I think the Hawks had one of the best records in the second half of the season. So when I saw that, and I think the Hawks got to a decent 2-1 start, I said maybe they took the confidence from last year and they're going to bring it into next year. Well, what hurt them was John Collins got suspended early for performance enhancement drugs, so he missed 25 games. So that hurt them already automatically. They had some injuries. And Karam says that the Kings are the next team that I'm covering. Absolutely, that's right. I'm going to be covering Sacramento, and he says I got a lot to say about them. No doubt. Again, Atlanta fans, if you are out there in the YouTube world, make sure you pull up, like the video, and subscribe as I talk about the Atlanta Hawks. And like I said, I like this young team. I know that they're not a very good team when it comes to offensive rating and defensive rating. This is a very young team. If we look at the roster, we have DeAndre Hunter, Trae Young, Vince Carter, who's in his last season and he's supposed to retire. But it's funny that he has to go out in this manner instead of playing in an arena. Cam Reddish. So I'm wondering if they're going to I don't know if they're going to treat Vince Carter like that. I just think that they're just going to let him right off into the sunset without having him really play. I'm wondering if Adam Silver even thought about that, but who knows? So we have Cam Reddish, Kevin Huerter. Cam Reddish he went to Duke University. Kevin Huerter went to Maryland. Kevin Huerter 6'7", 190 pounds. Cam Reddish 6'8", 208 pounds. Trae Young is 6'1", 180. DeAndre Hunter 6'7", 225. We got Damian Jones. DeAndre Bembry. I've seen a lot of Bembry. Jeff Teague is back. Remember, he got traded. We got Trevin Graham, John Collins, 6'9", 235, came out of Wake Forest. You got Clint Capella, who came in that trade. We got Charlie Brown, Dwayne Dedman, and we have Charles Labissiere. That is the Atlanta Hawks roster. If we look at how much these guys are averaging right now, Lloyd Pierce is the head coach. What are you guys' thoughts on Lloyd Pierce, being the head coach of this team? So if you look at the Atlanta Hawks, this team they've had quite a few injuries on their team. But in terms of the starters, John Collins missed a lot of time. Trae Young has played 60 games. He's shooting 43% from the field, 36 from 3. Surprisingly, he's shooting 50% from 2. Very good free throw shooter at 86% from the free throw line, and he's averaging 29 points a game with 9 assists from the field. His turnover rate is very high, though. Caden says, if JC didn't get suspended, I think we would have won 30 to 35 games. Yeah, that looks more reasonable for Atlanta. I think 30, 35 wins was reasonable. They lack veterans. The Atlanta Hawks lack veteran help. They have to obviously improve on the defensive end. They can score points, but there's really no structure to their offense. And yeah, I do. To Larry Fitzgerald. Oh man, I have no issue with him being here. That's funny. That's crazy. What was I? Okay. And Caden says that Lloyd Pierce, he ought to be fired, no question. And I don't know much about Lloyd Pierce. I know a little bit about him, but I know he really hasn't done that well of a job. Trae Young should take less threes deep and be more of a facilitator. Not only that, but Trae Young has poor shot selection. And the thing was, I noticed that while he was in college when he went to Oklahoma, his issue is that he just goes unconsciously. He'll come down the floor, and instead of trying to run the offense, he'll just pull up for three. And I'm like, that's not winning basketball. So Trae Young, yes, this is only his second year in the league, so he still has a lot to learn. But he has to learn how to really incorporate his teammates. Yeah, he's getting 9 assists, but I just feel like it's not really within an offense. So they need a coach who will put in a system where Trae Young can thrive. And the thing is, Trae Young is really more ball dominant, and I feel like Trae Young would actually benefit playing more off ball, and he could really focus on really more so scoring. He can make plays because he is a playmaker, but I feel like he is one of those guards that has the ability to score and kind of gets those hockey assists. And to me, that's where he kind of reminds me of Steph Curry. And I think if he takes less 3-pointers, like doesn't take as many, and just to stop just taking them so far out, like in range, I think Trae Young can definitely improve his efficiency. Let's see if Mark Jackson can coach this young team. If Mark Jackson is to be the head coach of this team, Trae Young is going to have to play defense. That's another problem I have with him. I noticed that the bench is in a lot sooner than usual. And I'm like, why is that? Like, you need to let your starters ride out because there's a reason why they start. Like, it doesn't make any sense that you're just going to keep playing. You're going to keep playing backups more than your starters. Like, it doesn't make sense. If Trae Young was under a guy like Rick Carlisle, he would have been better. Yeah, I agree with that. I think Rick Carlisle's offensive system is actually tailor made for a guy like Trae Young, to be honest with you. I think his offensive style would fit perfectly with Trae. It would fit perfect. Because even Luka Doncic, I mean, his efficiency is actually, better. Even though like Trae Young, he has a tendency to he takes a lot of step back threes. That's his problem. He takes a lot of step back threes. Uh, Trae Young just likes to pull up from like damn near 30 when he's not efficient. And remember, the question with Trae Young is that can somebody at his height be able to exceed at the NBA level? Well, he's proven that he can excel. So he's proven doubters in that aspect. But now he has to improve along with this rest of the team. Yeah, DeAndre Bembry plays way too many minutes, and listen, he's an okay player, but he should not be playing that many minutes off the bench because you're almost telling him that he's kind of like it's like a pivotal 6-man role, and it's like, my man, slow your roll. But I am a big fan of Cam Reddish. I think he's underrated. I think he is very talented. Same thing with John Collins. John Collins has to make sure that he stays out of trouble. He has to stay on the court and continue to grow and develop along with Trae Young and Cam Reddish because I feel like those guys are the future. Also, Atlanta tries to play at the speed of Golden State, and they don't have the personnel to do so. And that's also my issue with Lloyd Pierce and the coaching staff. You have to understand the players that you have on your team. If you don't understand your personnel is not going to succeed. You have to play to your personnel strengths. Until you build the team to the team that you want to envision on the court, you have to play to your team strengths. Bembry is not really, he's really not that good, man. Tyree says, to me, Trae Young is a short version of LaMelo Ball. Okay. I hope Cam Reddish doesn't turn out like Darius Garland. Yeah, man. It's funny because Darius got some talent, but it's like, for Cam Reddish' sake, I really hope that he doesn't turn into him. Cam Reddish could definitely catch fire. I will say that. When he's on, he's very, very, very difficult to stop. Like the man has the ability to catch fire. Funny thing is with the Hawks, they were actually showing recently about Atlanta's most Cam Reddish. Yep. And Freddie Gee, shout out to Freddie Gee in the building. He says, "What is good? What is good, my brother? What is going on, my brother?" We got 7 people watching, but we got 5 likes, man. Let's get Atlanta fans. Where you at, man? Share the stream. Let's get the likes up. Let's get the view count up. Again, we're going to be doing Sacramento Kings next. And I know that Karam has got a lot to say about that Sacramento Kings team. All right, no doubt for sure. So I can't wait to see that. Tyree says, yeah, Cam needs more touches. And it's like, you got to understand who you got on your team. Trae Young may be averaging the most points, but I can make the case that Cam Reddish is the best player on the team. Cam Reddish turned into a solid defender and was handling the ball for us, man. Shot the ball very full this season. Yeah, he obviously has to work on the shot. Um, but yeah, I like his defense, and for me personally, I think you could definitely see him get better. And Cam just really has to work on his game. Once he works on his game, I think his confidence is going to soar. And you know the thing with young players, man. Um, once their confidence soars, it's crazy. I mean, look at the average of the starting lineup. In your starting lineup, Trey Young is 21, John Collins is 22, DeAndre Hunter is 22, Kevin Huerter is 21, and Cam Reddish is 20. That is a young starting lineup. But for some reason, DeAndre Bembry is playing more minutes though off the bench. Like why? You got Allen Crabbe, who's a 3-point shooter, but I know he missed time because he had injuries. You have Alex Len, he's an okay player. If you look at the starting lineup, Trey Young and John Collins make up 50. They make up already 50 of the team's 84 points in the starting lineup. And I would love to get to Jabari Parker. And Jabari Parker to me was a player that showed a lot of promise. Um, but unfortunately, he hasn't really been that good. Yeah, they lack veterans. Tyrese says they're protesting right now, Louis, so they won't make this. So they won't make this stream. Yeah, true that. That's true. I forgot about that. I forgot about that. I think that Cam should play over DeAndre Hunter. Freddie says LaMelo's gonna be nice, and LaMelo got good feet and instincts like Lonzo too. He's gotta be locked in though. Yeah, that's my only worry about LaMelo is him easily getting distracted. It looks like that he's kind of matured, but we're gonna have to see when he gets drafted. If Atlanta does get his hands on him, how's he gonna perform? In the NBA level. So that's gonna be interesting. I think what's gonna help him is at least Lonzo will be around in the NBA at least because he's got his older brother in the league, and at least he'll be able to get some guidance, some advice. It's funny because if LaMelo does get drafted by the Atlanta Hawks, and I think presumably they're gonna try to go after Anthony Edwards. If that is the case, I mean, I think it's okay because this draft is really not gonna be that strong, to be honest. It's really not gonna be that strong. It's Cam's rookie season, so I'll wait till year 3 to 4 to see. Yeah, yeah. Cam is a work in progress. You don't really get to judge players until like about their third, fourth season. That's where you really start to be like, especially players that are playing off the potential. You're like, what's he gonna show me? Um, he says he thinks Lamelo is a taller Trey, really, and they really do need some vets. We traded both Alex Len and Allen Crabbe. Sorry, people just got a notification from when you always get those emergency notifications, just letting people know that there's going to be a curfew, and curfews last until 11 o'clock. Yeah, and I think LaMelo is a taller Trey Young. Vince is there, but that's the only one. My favorite player for the Hawks right now. Trey doesn't have a second consistent wing piece, man. Once he gets that, he's going to be better. Yeah, for sure. Give me 1 second. All right, so Okay, Freddie says Trey doesn't have a second consistent wing piece, but once he'll get that, he's definitely going to be better. Uh, Tyrese says that Jabari Parker is a bust. I agree with that because he came in with some talent, but he chooses not to play defense, and he's really not that good. Um, Not what I expected. I expected better things from him, and the thing is, he keeps getting injured. I remember they were talking about how potentially good he could have been had he been, with Giannis Antetokounmpo at the time. But unfortunately, he hasn't really lived up to expectations. Um, he says, "What are the Hawks' lottery odds?" Good question. I got to see. Okay, if we're looking at the odds for the Atlanta Hawks right now to get the number one pick are at 12.5%. So to answer your question, their odds are at 12.5%. LaMelo going to the Knicks. The only reason I see him going there is because of his father, and this for spotlight reasons. He's trying to live off of his kids. But hey, I'm not mad at him. His family. He can do what he wants. Jabari was hurt. Yeah, he was hurt. He's missed a lot. He's missed a lot of time due to injury. I mean, he's torn his ACL twice. Freddie says, Melo has a higher ceiling than Trey in his personal opinion. And Trey's ceiling is more like a Steve Nash versus Steph Curry NBA steals leader. LaMelo is actually a better defender too, and he's taller, so I think he has more upside, and he can make plays too. That's the crazy part. He's always hurt. Yeah. Sly says John Collins is my favorite. I like John Collins. You think Trey's leaving Atlanta? Let me ask you this: where do you think Trey Young would go if he becomes a free agent by year 5? Like, what team could you possibly see Trey Young going to? You know, who do you think will get the lottery pick? The number one pick? Um, who has the worst record right now? I believe I remember because the draft lottery was supposed to be held. It was supposed to be held on May 19th, but due to the pandemic, it got canceled. So Atlanta would be they have Atlanta has the fourth best chance right now. So they're at 12.5%. So they have the fourth best chance to get the number one pick. If we look at the NBA standings right now for 2020, let's just look. Who has the worst record in the league? So Cleveland has the worst record in the East. The Warriors have the worst record in the West. I wouldn't be surprised if the Warriors get the number one pick because it looks like they're the ones who have the best shot to get the number one pick. But we know how these NBA drafts go. It could be possible that they could get it, and then it could be possible that they might not. It's crazy. Do you think anybody could trade up, or what would want to trade with Golden State, so that they would have an opportunity to trade for a number one pick, for the possibly a number one pick? Because remember, Golden State's pick is protected, and it's supposed to be a top draft lottery pick. I can see Trey going to the Suns with Devin Booker and the big man they have. Actually, that'd be a nice little trio. Trey Young, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton. I do like that. That would look good for the Suns. But we talking about Atlanta. Yeah. Let me ask y'all this, man. Who do you think for Atlanta uh, would be a nice veteran presence for the Hawks to really complement these young players? Because I just told you their starting lineup. Their starting lineup is really, really, really young. Really young. They're averaging an age of almost, what, 21 years old? I'm surprised Jabari Parker is 24. He looks like he's in his late 20s with the way he plays. So if we look at John Collins, in the 41 games he's played this season, he's shooting 58% from the field. He's shooting 40% from three. He's a solid 80% free throw shooter. He's giving you 21 points. He's giving you 10 rebounds, and he's giving you about 1.5 assists, but he's giving you 1.6 blocks. In my personal opinion, I like Cam Reddish in terms of his defense, but I feel like John Collins is the best player on this team. He's the best player on this team. Steph ain't the best defender, but he's 10 times better than Trey, though. Steph is a great off defender, being in the passing lanes and digging on drives. No, Steph cannot play on-ball defense. In the playoffs, he did a solid job in situations, but he can't do it for a long game. No, he's never been that, and he never will be. So I already know that for sure. Watching my Lakers get the #1 pick. Thanks, Adam. I think that Gordon Hayward could be a good signing. I think with Gordon Hayward, it would actually be less pressure for him than the pressure he had to live up to in Boston. Getting that big contract from Danny Ainge, fortunately breaking his ankle in that first game of the season. And then once that happened, I felt like he lost his confidence after that. It looked like he was starting to slowly get it back, and then he went back and got inconsistent. But I think Gordon Hayward would be a nice veteran presence for Atlanta. But I feel like that they need somebody that can lead by example, somebody who will get the best. I think Gordon would be a good complementary piece, but they need somebody that's going to get the best out of this young team. And hopefully, if they can get somebody in the next 2 years, at least, maybe hopefully even sooner, that will convince Trae Young to stay, and that they could honestly build around him, John Collins, and Cam Reddish, to eventually they get themselves a playoff team and then eventually a championship team. Because Atlanta hasn't won since Hall of Famer Bob Pettit played, and that was in the 50s and 60s. Let me think on the veteran piece. Yeah, think about that. He says Gordon Hayward could be a good fit if he's the same when he was in Utah. Yeah, Utah Gordon Hayward would be a big boost for Atlanta. But even with them, again, they really do lack structure. This is a team that's just kind of really playing street ball basketball. They really lack, like I said, this team is lacking structure. So you can clearly see it when they play. Harrison Barnes could be a good fit. Yeah, Joe Harris is one of the best three-point shooters. And remember, the Nets are looking to trade him. He is going to be a free agent at the end of the season as well. So if they can't sign him, Atlanta should try to see if they could pick him up. I wonder what kind of offer they would give. I wonder what Joe Harris's asking price is and how much would he go for. But he definitely will help space the floor for Trey if he gets double teamed. But for Trey, like I said, I'm looking for him to work on his efficiency and be able to work on his playmaking. But I don't see his ceiling like that crazy. I mean, he could surprise people, but I don't see his ceiling being that crazy high. Like I said, because I think with them, they could definitely use a good locker room presence. So I think a good chemistry, good character environment in Atlanta is definitely good. Yeah, they traded Taurean Prince to the Nets. Taurean Prince was good. I know he was good for fantasy when we had him. I know he was good for my fantasy when he was getting buckets. Shout out to Caden. He says he's going to head out. All right, peace out, Caden. Appreciate you coming through. It was supposed to be Melo. Well, we know what happened with that. Yeah, the Hawks are really lacking the three. He says he thinks Atlanta needs a solid, consistent wing veteran to show Hunter and Cam the ropes while Trey can depend on him. I think if we're looking at a veteran player, somebody who could be kind of like in their 7th, 8th, 9th season, like somebody who you could depend on consistently, but be able to help develop those young players in terms of the mindset, get them focused and push them hard to really work on their game so that they could really help benefit Trae Young. Because Trae Young, despite the fact that he's inconsistent and he's inefficient, he's still going to command double teams because his ability to score points when he gets hot. Because Trae Young can get hot, believe it or not. He can become a flamethrower when Trae Young is on fire. So I do agree with that one. And can everybody do me a favor after this stream? Can everybody make sure that when this stream is over and the video uploads, you guys just continue watching the video? That way we can get the views up, and then hopefully people who are fans of the Atlanta Hawks would be able to come and be able to stream the video. Again, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button for the Louis Sports Network. Okay, we got 7 people watching, 7 likes. I know people are out there protesting, so I do understand that. Yeah, so I think with Atlanta, my best bet for the Atlanta Hawks, they possibly might get a top 3 pick. I could see them possibly getting a top 3 pick, in this year's draft, And the draft is supposed to be moved to September. Yeah, if Iguodala, yeah, first of all, that's a younger Iggy, number one. And then number two, I mean, his veteran leadership, his defense would have been nice, his versatility, he can hit big shots. Iggy definitely would have been good for Atlanta because right now he's going to pay dividends for Miami, I think, a little bit, but I do remember that he's, 36 years old. So we do have to pay attention to that too. So, like I said before, in terms of a wing, they need to get a player that's anywhere from like 6 to 7 years in because that will give them enough experience. So, yeah, I can see guys like Gordon Hayward, guys like Joe Harris fitting in nice because those are players that can space the floor. Gordon Hayward is a solid ball handler. He can put the ball on the floor. And obviously, the Hawks have got to get better defensively because they're last in the NBA in points allowed. And I know that this era is about not playing defense, but I said you got to play some type of defense because championships are won that way. Like, you're not just going to just expect to be winning championships with just offensive teams. I mean, even some championship teams that were not great defensively in the regular season, you got to be able to play situational defense at the very least. At the very least. You know? So then there's that. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button for the Louis Sports Network. We are in Hotlanta on the Louis Sports Network talking about the Atlanta Hawks in State Farm Arena, looking at these fine, fine players. I'm kind of surprised that they actually brought back Jeff Teague. I know that Atlanta fans, there was a video that came out that said that Atlanta needed to finally forgive, Al Horford after leaving for Boston in free agency. Robert Covington is a nice piece, true. He can defend and he can hit the three, but unfortunately he's in Houston right now after being part of that 3-team trade with Atlanta that sent Clint Capella down here. The Hawks are going to be nice. Trey, Collins, Huter, Reddish, and Xero, potential dynasty. You're going a little too far with the potential dynasty. I don't know about that. It really depends on their coaching staff and who they bring in. What I will agree with you is that you got to start with a core. So that's true. Dynasty is kind of pushing it. I don't see a dynasty in Atlanta, not just yet. When you look at a dynasty, you have to look at a team that when you built them, when they're built together, it's like they have to be, number one, they got to be deep. And number two, when you put the roster together, you look at them and say that they're going to contend for years to come. You're looking at them anywhere from like 4 to 6 years. That's how I look at a dynasty team. But it's like, I'm not going to put a team together. It's like they compete a little bit for the playoffs. Next thing you know, they're going, and it's like, blunt. Because we said that about the Orlando Magic, and look what that got them. When Shaq and Penny and them, people were saying that the Orlando Magic were supposed to compete for the near future. And that all fell apart in like about 2 years, in 95 and 96. No, Clay is locked in for the long haul, unless if they trade him. But Clay would be a nice piece, though. He would be a nice piece. Wishful thinking. Yeah, nobody said Clay's a superstar. We're just saying that he would thrive in Atlanta though. No, Clay's not gonna lead the Wolves. No, no way. The thing is, Clay's so used to winning. Clay's so used to winning. He already had a bad season before the Warriors began to win, and then after that, Clay and Steph, like they were there in the dog years. They built themselves up. Like, why would Clay go back to that? Down in Atlanta. Now, I will say this, and remember, had they given Kevin Durant max money and Klay Thompson didn't get it, guess what? After Steph Curry got it, Klay Thompson would have been a free agent. And if Atlanta was there, they definitely would have put a nice pitch for them. A nice pitch. Trey, Steph, Hunter, Draymond, no Klay though. But like I said, I like this young Hawks team, and they definitely got a future. All right, going on to this guy. My man, Vince Carter. Vince Carter has played in 4 different decades. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? First player in NBA history to play in 4 different decades. This is crazy. Now, I got to give Vince Carter a lot of credit for playing as long as he has, but I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm very disappointed in Vince Carter's career. I know he's had injuries, but my issue with Vince is he never really dedicating himself to work hard, and that's really, really, really unfortunate. Now, give him a lot of credit that he's been able to adjust and really took on the liberties of being a six man and accepting his role. But I don't like the fact that Vince Carter never really worked hard. Uh, I thought he was really going to be something in Toronto, and it's sad. That really sucks. No, Vince is going to hang him up. It's his last year already, so he's pretty much done. Now, when I look at Vince's career, let me ask y'all a question. Do you think Vince Carter is a Hall of Famer? And before I do that, let me just check into the comment section. Trey, Steph, Hunter, Draymond, not really. Cam Reddish equals KD, wishful thinking, and no Klay though. So you were looking at it as a Golden State Warriors kind of built team, and they could use a coach like Mark Jackson. I would love for Mark Jackson to be back into the league. I just hope that the rumors that were swirling around him with what happened in Golden State with Festus Ezeli, hopefully are kind of long gone. He gets a fresh start and he's able to build a young team. And I think he would give them a lot of discipline. Where I question Mark Jackson would be his offensive philosophy. But they'll be playing defense. My question is the offensive philosophy. Besides, they have the athletes in Collins and Reddish, so they will feast with those two guys. John Collins is giving you 21 and 10 this year. I would just like to remind Freddie and G Money that the topic is the Atlanta Hawks. Exactly. Jeff Teague equals point guard DeRozan. Listen, I never thought that Jeff Teague was even an all-star, and he was able to get one with the 2015 Atlanta Hawks team. I never thought Jeff Teague was an all-star. That dude is too inconsistent. So, well, he was kind of mentioning when he was trying to build the pieces together, comparing them. Yeah, that's the problem. That Atlanta is in the middle of a small and a big market. They're kind of in between. I just hate the fact that all these sports networks don't mention them just because that they're a small market and they don't sound interesting to talk about. But people need to understand something. You could really influence a fan base when you talk about them a lot more. They could tune into your show. But because you don't talk about them, it's like everybody just wants to focus on what's really hot. And that's obviously the top teams. I mean, look, the Knicks still somehow get coverage despite the fact that they've been a terrible team for so long. But why is that? It's because they're New York. They're New York. Tyrese says time for Vince to hang him up. If Marcus Smart was a better offensive player, he could have been a nice piece. Yeah, that's the thing with Marcus Smart is he brings the defense. He brings the intensity. I just hate that he will stop flopping to intentionally hurt himself just to get a foul call. G Money says Hawks would be nice, but they are not the Warriors yet. Vince had a good career, but he did underachieve at times. I can't even say at times. I feel like he underachieved a lot. Me personally, Vince almost said Vince McMahon. Vince Carter to me is not a Hall of Famer, but like Tyree said, if T Mac is in the Hall of Fame, then Vince Carter got to be there. And Vince was able to play longer than T Mac. So Vince, what he has going for him is longevity. But the only real thing that Vince really did was he did make he was what I think a 7-time or 8-time All-Star, and Vince was able to obviously be a dunk contest champion. But Vince really didn't accomplish a lot in his career, which is what's really disappointing about him. If I click on Vince Carter, look at that. They also got Evan Turner, who's also another bust. Look at that. Vince, Rookie of the Year '99. He made the All-Rookie first team. He only made 2 All-NBA teams in 21 years, and he made 8 All-Star teams. Yeah, about that. Yeah, like he'll get in. I think Vince possibly might be a. He's probably not going to make the first ballot. He would only make it first ballot if his Hall of Fame class is weak, if it's like not that strong. If he was to put, if he goes in a stronger class, he wouldn't make it with that class. At least I don't think so. And if you look at his career, yeah, he's played 1,541 games, career 16.7 points, 4.3 rebounds, 3.1 assists, 43.5% from the field. He's always been a very good three-point shooter for his career, 37% for his career. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for a two guard who's supposed to be known as a scorer. 79.8% from the free throw line. Now Vince has only played 82 games. He played them twice in his career. But in his prime, he was missing quite a few games, though. Yeah, this is what's really sad about Vince. Vince is a volume scorer. In his prime with Toronto, the man missed 39 games in 2003. He missed 22 games in 2002. He was able to play. He played 73 games in 2004, but the issue is that, again, Vince just did not dedicate himself to become a better player. Vince was very lazy. Jeff Teague is better than Steve Blake. Come on now. And I like Steve Blake. Mark Jackson with an offensive coordinator would be nice for Atlanta. Yeah, get somebody who can handle the offense and he takes care of the defense. I wouldn't say the offense. I would say the defense because he's a defensive-minded coach, not really offense. Offense is stagnant. And in this era, Mark Jackson has to adjust to today's style of the NBA. So he said, "Duh, man, don't be disrespectful now." My Thunder were talked about when they had Russ, PG, and Melo. They were, and then after that, they were talked about a little bit due to the surgence of Paul George. But then after that, they were able to be talked about again thanks to Chris Paul, when nobody looked like they were even really going to talk about them, which is crazy. Now the media don't talk about them that much. Of course. Vince will get in on his third try. Possible. T-Mac was an all-NBA basically every year that he was healthy. Vince was not top 3 because it was stacked. His career is similar to Ray Allen. Ray has the chip over Vince. If I look at T-Mac, I believe T-Mac made more All-NBAs than Vince Carter. But if you look at T-Mac's career when he was playing, yeah. So let me ask you a question. What do y'all think, Collins? Like, what do you honestly see his potential can be? Because I feel like the two most prized possessions on this team are Cam Reddish and John Collins. Like, what is your expectations on both John Collins and Cam Reddish? If these guys stay healthy, what do you think these guys can be in the NBA? What is your potential with these guys if they're able to stay healthy in the NBA? Let me know in the comment section. And actually, yo, I'm not gonna lie. I think that the Atlanta Hawks have some really nice jerseys. Like, I like their '97 jersey, the one that the Dikembe Mutombo has, and then I actually like their old school jersey with Dominique Wilkins. I think those are fire, and they're classics. So gotta represent ATL. Gotta represent ATL with Ice Trader again. Ice Trader again. I mean, My man Quavo gave Ice Trey his own chain, which was pretty cool. That was awesome. Freddie says Kobe, T-Mac, AI were top 3 shooting guards in the time that Vince played. Then Vince and Ray Allen were right there with him. Yeah, Ray Allen that gets kind of lost. One of the most forgotten sons, Sugar Ray. I mean, I did make a video about Ray, but I actually got to, come back and make a video about him because he kind of gets lost when it comes to shooting guards all the time. But I got to give Jesus Shuttlesworth his props. Yeah, I give him his props. Let me just type in Tracy McGrady. Let's go to T-Mac. Yeah, and if you look at it, it's true. T-Mac, to me, was better than Vince, in my personal opinion. Vince was a much better dunker than T-Mac, but I feel that T-Mac was a better overall player, in my personal opinion. But funny that Vince actually has more win shares than T-Mac does in his career. Vince has 125 career win shares, while T-Mac only has 97. I think part of that also has to kind of do with he really was not on that great teams with Orlando, and also in the playoffs. We already know what happened. All right, so if you look at T-Mac, dang, T-Mac really never shot above 45% in his career. And obviously, T-Mac's his best season. He led the league in scoring 32.1 points per game. It's funny, too. T-Mac never shot 50% from 2 neither. And T-Mac was not that great of a free throw shooter, a decent 74%. But if you look at T-Mac's career, he made one less All-Star team. He had 2 scoring titles. He was most improved, but he made 7 All-NBA teams. I felt that T-Mac was not a first ballot Hall of Famer, though. I thought he could have got second or third ballot as well, which is kind of weird, man. But Freddie G says Ray Allen is a 10-time All-Star because most of his All-Stars came in the West. And when T-Mac went to the West, Ray came to the East. Vince was in the East, AI, T-Mac, then Vince. Well, if you remember, what is it? Ray Allen's first All-Star team was 2000, then 2001, 2002, 2003. Oh, no, wait. I think he was not on the 2003 All-Star team. So take him off the 03 team. He went from 2004 to 2007 with the Sonics. And then after that, he made 3 more with Boston when he went back east. G Money says, have I ever been to Atlanta? No, I haven't. Win shares can be with a grain of salt. It could be. Sometimes when it comes to players, and like I said, this is why we always have to judge players with context. But yeah, man, that's a really nice arena right there, State Farm Arena in Atlanta. But again, let me ask y'all, what do you think the potential for John Collins and Cam Reddish can be if those guys stay healthy in their careers? What do you think their potential can really be? Ray Allen in Seattle was the second best shooting guard in the Western Conference. Vince, by default, was the third best in the East, and Paul Pierce was a shooting guard early in his career. 4 out of 6 top shooting guards are from the Eastern Conference. During the early to mid 2000s, I agree. And if you go to T-Mac's career, T-Mac went west in 2004? Dang. T-Mac actually never played 82 games in the season. Damn, I'm surprised. He didn't even play in the season, and he was on the San Antonio roster. That's funny. Dang, I mean, T-Mac's last real productive season was 2007 with the Rockets. He was able to play 71 games that year. But he pretty much kind of went downhill after 2006, he played 47 games. He bounced back and played 71, but then it was 66, 35, 30, and he was just pretty much done after that. It's unfortunate he had a lot of chronic injuries. He says, State Farm Marina, baby. I got Brandon Roy over Vince and Ray Allen in the mid 2000s. Oh, in terms of shooting guard? I mean, it's kind of tough just for the fact that Brandon Roy's career was real short. He was only, Brandon Roy had like about a 4 year stretch. So it really wasn't that much. But he definitely was going to be up there, though. Have you been to a Hawks game? And he says, nah, I wish. The tickets are usually cheap as hell. Are you talking about for every game? Because they can't be most, I mean, unless those top stars come. Never been to an NBA game or any professional or collegiate game before? Man, that's crazy. I mean, if you guys want to know about me, like I said, I've been to a couple of Knicks games. My first ever game, I got to see Reggie Miller play. Uh, and my last game at the Garden, I got to see Kobe Bryant play in his last season. So two of the best shooting guards of all time, I got to see them play. Um, I think my very first game at Madison Square Garden was 1999. That was the first one. That was my first one. Uh, and then I've pretty much been to Barclays pretty much all the time. I've seen Damian Lillard play. I've seen KD play. I've seen CP3 play. I mean, I got to see the Warriors together before their last season, so I got to see Steph, Clay, KD. That was a dream come true for me. Same thing with Kobe. Getting to see him play in his final game. Yeah, they definitely had a squad in Portland, but his knee injury really screwed him over, man. Well, unfortunately, Freddie can't because Freddie's working. What is that noise? Oh, listen to that. Yeah, they screwed up their potential, man. Oh yeah, Portland. You got LaMarcus. You got Batum, and you got Wes Matthews. And he said, "Damn, Lewis, I'm hating. I never seen the Bean in 2016. I was going to see him, and I think he was out that game. Damn, crazy, right? I mean, let me know if you guys have been to games before, though." He said, "Yeah, those are facts. I was trying to hit up a cheap Lakers game last year with the homies, man. Didn't work out. I feel you. Got you, got you, got you. Damn, that's crazy. Shout out to Ryan, man. He said, what is up? Again, if y'all happen, man, smash that like. Yo, I do want to see Braun versus another superstar star before he retires. Yeah, I've been to LA, man. LA's beautiful. I mean, I've been to a Dodger game. I went to go see the Lakers play. So, it's nice. It's pretty dope. Yeah, I went to a Pelicans Houston and OKC game. Oh, nice. I definitely would like to go to the Smoothie King Arena and with the Pelicans. I would love to see Zion play, see Brandon Ingram play. I would even love to go to an OKC game. I heard that OKC has a very college-like atmosphere. And then Houston, we talking H-Town, baby. Talking H-Town. That's a nice little arena. Let me throw a little classic for y'all. There you go, man. We got Bob Pettit. We got Pistol Pete, Dikembe Mutombo. We have Dominique Wilkins. I forgot who this was for Atlanta. I was looking at him online and I forgot his name. Trying to remember. New York is next for me. All right, nice. Facts. I love the West Coast, man. I went to LA one time 5 years ago, man. I don't remember the last time I had that much fun. He says, man, I don't remember having that much fun. That much fun. Oh, the last time, yeah, that much fun doing nothing. So I love Cali. I'm done. Says it was because he was chilling. Just got back from watching Flight Reacts first June game. Ooh, Lou Hudson. There you go. That was who I was trying to. That's what I'm trying to remember. Yep, you got Lou Hudson, man. Classic Atlanta Hawks. My favorite jerseys from looking at these jerseys are the one that Dikembe has. I like the detail on that one, and then you got to go with the throwback with your man Dominique Wilkins. With those '80s Hawks jerseys. I think those are fire. Like for me, I think those are like legitimately lit. Um, the Market Square Arena was very lit. I went to a Bulls Pacers playoff game. Oh, nice. That has to be late '90s. You already know. When I was single, I met 20 different women in Cali, and the crazy part, none of them were from there. It was some great nights. Yo, that's the crazy thing. When I was in LA, a lot of the chicks I was meeting out there, like they weren't even most of them that I met were not even from there. They were coming on vacation or they came to visit somebody, and I was just like, yo, it's pretty dope. And that was some good times. Like I went to a Dodgers game over there. Like and I got to talk with some fans, and they were like, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "I'm from New York." They're like, "Oh, yo, that's mad dope." And you came out here, and it was like, the people were nice out there, and they was just giving me a lot of props. So like, it was cool, man. It was definitely dope. Uh, it's all good. 6 for 200. The Kembe jerseys in the Hawks backcourt was the best in the Hawks court back then. Was the best court in the NBA. I appreciate y'all being back in here, no doubt. I bet, man. LA is the place to be, dog. Beautiful women. That's right. All right, six deuce up in the building. That's right. Because we know we call him 6 foot 200. We got 8 likes, 8 people watching. The Dodgers game was fire. The game went to extra innings. I remember I had nacho cheese with jalapenos, and it was crazy because the way they served them, they gave it to us in a Dodgers helmet. So I was eating the nachos with the nachos and cheese with jalapenos in a bowl, but it was in a Dodgers hat, in a Dodgers helmet. That's what was up about it, which is crazy. That's how it be like. But no doubt, man. Shout out, peace and love, man, to the city of Atlanta. Definitely deserve their props. And let me see if I can see his face. Yep. It says what it do. All right. Never been to a baseball game either, man. I need to start living, man. Yo, I'm telling you, man. It's like in baseball, the thing with baseball is that it's you kind of have to wait for things to happen because it's kind of a reactionary thing, and it's kind of like you have to wait for something to happen. You got to be ready for it once that ball hits the bat. But I'm telling you, it can get really exciting when there's rallies happening, and like I said, people kind of go crazy. People troll at the games. Like it's a really good time to be honest with you, man. Like fans can really keep you on your toes when you're sitting. Sometimes you can kind of feel kind of bored if a game goes long, but there's moments when the game could get really good, especially when it's down the stretch. But it's sometimes baseball can be hit or miss. But it's cool because like when you're with your friends, like you kind of bypass, what could be happening at the game. Like it's beautiful air. Especially I love going to nighttime games just because of the fact that you could just really feel the breeze. Uh, the bright lights. I mean, it's dope, man. Tyrese says, I hope you didn't tell anyone back home where you went when you went to a Dodgers game. They don't care. they're, nah, they don't matter. They're like, oh, some people really take it personal to heart to be like, you went to a Dodgers game, you're supposed to be a Yankee fan, Mets fan, or whatever. Listen, the way I think is this: I'm always gonna love and rep my Yankees, no matter what. But the cool thing, I, I know I lowered it down a bit. I lowered it down a bit because you was on the phone, and I just lowered it down a bit. Because I heard the little pop, so I said, let me just lower it down a bit. Okay, let me see. Why you always do that, man? Oh, he's talking about Barkley and the Suns problems. Uh, oh, Tyree says he's from Louisiana. He says the games be so loud. Saints games. Oh, yo, I want to go to the Superdome. I've been trying to go to New Orleans, man. Charles was just making fun of the Phoenix Arena and the stuff they had in there. Feel you, man. LSU and the Saints crowd be turned this out. Yeah, Louisiana State. Yep. Yankees are the best team in NY, but injuries be hurting them. You're for real, man. Louis burning rice on the stove. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't that. It was eggs. Somebody ended up leaving eggs by the stove. It wasn't me because I wasn't making them. But it's all good. It's all good. All right. I know Atlanta unfortunately doesn't get this kind of coverage, and it's really sad because they really should. Um, because they're a nice young team, and I think that teams getting recognition, I think would be good for the league because I think it could bring different fan bases together. G Money says, "What NBA arena do you want to go to?" I want to go to Staples Center. Unfortunately, the time that I went to LA over the summer, it was already the off season. I've been trying to go to Staples Center. That's an arena that I really want to go to. So there's there. Uh, I want to go down to New Orleans and go see the Smoothie King Arena. So that there's that because I've already been to the Garden and I've been to Barclays. I'm trying to think of another. Oh, I was in Phoenix last year, so but I didn't get the chance to go see Phoenix because the season had not started yet. And that's another arena I would like to go to. So three arenas off the bat would be New Orleans, Los Angeles at the Staples Center with the Lakers playing, and then in Phoenix in Arizona. Those are three arenas I thought about. Maybe another one would also be Oklahoma City because they have a college atmosphere in the Chesapeake Bay Arena. Really would like to go there. It's gonna take some time, yeah. Yep, it stinks. But I could say this: you could see Russ in Houston with James Harden. You could see Russ in Houston with James Harden now. So H Town will be another spot I go to, and I really hope that the Rockets do win a championship, so that James Harden and Russell Westbrook can get these narratives that they keep having off of them. But it's them. I went to Kobe's last game. Oh, you did? Well, I got to see Kobe's last time at the Garden, so we got something in common. At least we got to see Kobe in his 2015-2016 season. That's what's up. Um, I had to block my brother because he lives in LA and all he talks about are the games in Staples Center. Yeah, it's crazy. Um, Karam, I want to go to a Thunder game. No, for real, I definitely want to go there, man, for sure. And shout out to these Atlanta Hawk legends. Oh, Dallas is another one. American Airlines Arena. Definitely got to go to Dallas. Oh no, he's definitely loved out there. Yeah, one of these days, man. If I if I can. But how do you know in 2021, 22? What about 2020, 2021? Russ in Houston ain't the same, man. OKC was like Kobe in LA or Mike in Chicago. True, true. You should have kept that to yourself, bro. I'm hella jealous. You know why he's saying that, Ryan? Is because I mentioned that I saw Kobe at the Garden, and you saw him in his last game. So because he said I said that, he's kind of like, shh, 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 don't say nothing. Shh, shh. You should have never spoke. Shh. It's crazy. Oh, that's the six. Why is six afraid of seven? Shout out to Tomoko. Oh, that's right, because Miami Heat is the American Airlines Arena. This is American Airlines Center. You're right. You're right, G Money. Yep, you're right. Man, I'm already knowing and watching his energy and passion, I would be so hyped, man. Yeah, I know I wasn't tripping. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna put a stop to this stream. I just wanted to give the Hawks some love. Salute to everybody in the chat. And we're gonna come back with the Sacramento Kings at 10 o'clock. So make sure you guys are smashing that like, hitting that subscribe, and when the stream does upload, make sure you guys watch this video so that Atlanta Hawks fans, when this whole protest thing kind of calms down a bit, and definitely you know s- spread the awareness of the channel, and make sure you guys are sharing this on your social media platforms. Yeah, I definitely got to go down to Atlanta, man, especially when things calm down. For sure, I want to go down there. Appreciate that, Lou, because we need it. Nah, yeah, no doubt, man, because it's like I just hate the fact that the media doesn't talk about smaller markets enough, man. It's like Indiana, Atlanta, Washington. Yeah, I get it. Nobody likes to talk about really like a losing team, but like there's news going on in the league. So you could definitely talk about that, but it's like they don't even talk about that. Like you would think that the networks at Fox would talk about undisputed. They don't even talk about at least trade things that are going to happen unless it's about the big market. Like that's what's really sad. All right, shout out to Karam, man. He says he's going to really talk about those Kings. All right. Yo, make sure Karam, if you know anybody that watches YouTube and is a Sacramento Kings fan, make sure they pull up to the channel later on tonight. I got the thumbnails ready, so you already know what it is. But shout out to everybody, man. Dexter Briggs. Oh, Griggs? Facts. Dexter Griggs, man. Oh, you mean Jenkins? Got you, got you, got you. All right, you know what Ryan says, man. We chat together, we stream together, we fan for life already, man. Everybody pull up for this one tonight, and we gonna talk, man. Hopefully, we could get some Kings fans up in the building. Hopefully, nobody's really protesting out there if they aren't. But I know it's hot in San Jose, and I know it's hot in California. For those that are out there, just be safe, man. So from the Lewis Sports Network, shout out to Atlanta Hawks. Hope these young players develop. Shout out to the fans of Atlanta. Shout out to the people of Atlanta. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. So, as always, like I like to say, the jump talked about the Thunder. Before I go, what did they talk about? Let me know, Karam. What did they talk about? Before I go, I got to hear this. What did the jump talk about them in Atlanta? And actually, if you just go to Tomoko's name is actually right there, Tyree. It's the username right there. Yep. Exactly. Shout out to the men and women of Atlanta, beautiful women of the ATL. Y'all know I know how y'all get down. Y'all get crunk. Shout out to Little John. Yeah. What? Okay. I just can't be that too loud. How they were the most surprised team in the league. See, and that's the only real time that they're gonna get that kind of mention, which is really sad because we know what dominates the headlines, man. The big market teams. And I get it, obviously it creates the most revenue and stuff, but this is why I wanted to show love to the Atlanta Hawks because they got a nice young team. And when they get better, it's like when they get better is when people are really going to start to recognize them. And that's the reason why there's a lot of underrated players in the league who don't get recognized for the work that they're putting in and how much that they're playing well is just because they're on small market teams and we don't want to talk about them. But guess what? We talk about them on the Louis Sports Network. So show us the love to the Atlanta Hawks. But again, this is your boy Louis with another one. Bless up, live, laugh, love. Thank y'all for watching. Yo, I need everybody to like the video for Sacramento coming up before we come in. And let's get a big crowd for that one because I definitely got to talk about Sacramento. I'm going to talk about a little bit of their history and where they're at right now in that race for eighth spot. And, you know, pretty much pull up on what's that going to be about. And stay tuned tomorrow. Jordan and LeBron, the two most protected superstars in NBA history in the media and in the media today. So, yeah. And Ryan says, you should see the funny wrestling referees comp, Louis. It's funny as hell. I'll check it out. Bless up, live, laugh, love. Thank y'all for watching, man. Pull up for that second.